The morning of the 28th of September, 1996. I'll be honest, I don't really remember that much, but like any normal big race mornings, excited because obviously it was the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, massive mile race, what usually decides the championship for the best milers. And I had one of the favourite called Mark of Esteem, and it looked like a match race with a great filly called Bosrasham. So that was the thought in my head. I was basically concentrating on that big race. And like any other mornings, opened the Racing Post. I went through my rides and just had a pretty good idea, how the day was going to happen and what strategy we use for each race. And then I set off to the races with my driver, Andy, to Ascot, obviously with the sense of excitement, anticipation for the big day. And but I didn't obviously foresee what was to come. But so that was my basically standard pre-race morning.
And very usual to have a ride in every race, all seven. That was that's quite typical at Ascot.
Well, what we usually do, myself and my agent, on the Saturday we try to get as many rides as we can. And at the time I was working for Godolphin. I had 4 rides for Godolphin. Then I picked up one of Ian Bolden's, one of John Gosden, and one of Michael Stout in the last. So I had 7 rides, but it was my first time to have 7 rides, so I didn't think too much of it.
Sure. And when you were looking through the card, did you think, actually, I could have a pretty good day today? Did you?
But basically, when I did get the racing paper, and I was going through it, and I thought, I think I can win the first race. And then I thought, with the third, the big race, it can go either way. It was a match race between me and Bosrasham. And then of the rest, I thought the 6, I was equal favourite with Pat Edry. I thought that could be interesting, but that's it. I didn't really fancy the others.
And obviously, nobody could possibly have foreseen what would happen. But until that day, what had been your best day in racing? Can you remember? Did you have 3, 4 timers before?
Yeah, it's funny enough because I was getting interviewed for a magazine or something, and the usual standard thing, what do you have for breakfast and what's your favorite film, so on. And then one of the questions was, what's your ideal day? And I said I would like to win every race in the day, but because that would be a perfect day, you know what I mean? And that would, a month later then happened, but I'm missing the coincidence.
That's amazing, really. Yeah. But did you always want that to happen then throughout when you started off as a jockey? You always thought.
Well, but everybody says, what is your perfect day? Well, my perfect day would be go racing and win every race. That'd be 10 out of 10, That would, if they said what would be the perfect day, that was it. And it's funny enough, there was a month before when I said that, and then that happened.
And we'll ask you a bit later about what happened beyond that day. But before then, you were well known, weren't you? Popular amongst punters.
Yeah, I was doing well. I was champion in 93 or 94, 95, I remember. So, I gathered a good momentum. I was winning a lot of races, and unfortunately that year, I had a fall just before Ascot. I think I fell in the paddock, goes right over me, and I smashed my elbow. So I was out basically the whole of Royal Ascot, I think. So I missed, I think, June, July, something like that. So I came back in August. So I started, obviously the championship was gone because I missed too much of the season. But, I started getting into it, and started getting some good rides again. And I had plenty to look forward to the end of the season. And that was basically the beginning of that good season.
Yeah, absolutely. And then things really took off after this day. But I think we should start looking through race by race, if that's okay, Frankie, and give us an idea of your thoughts. Okay, so race 1, Wall Street, 2-1, Freddie, but your thoughts first of all going into this race? You mentioned earlier that you felt quite.
Well, first of all, this race, when I looked at my 7 rides in the morning, I thought this is the one I fancy the most because Wall Street, it was an improving horse. It was an upward curve, and it was a small field. We'll watch it in a minute. And I thought, well, if I can skip out in front and set my own fractions, then I'll be very hard to catch. So we'll play the video. So yeah, like I said, I was in front. Samuel Ladd was the second favourite, and basically Richard came close to me, but I still had plenty left. And then as we passed the furlong mark, I was pulled away, and yeah, like I thought I would, he won.
As they race up to the line, and it's Wall Street for the money, wins the Cumberland Lodge half a length.
So that was, it wasn't a surprise to me, but it was good to get the ball rolling. So the day started well, and now we go into the second race, what was the sprint, 6 furlong sprint, group race, and I think it's the Diamond, I think. Anyway, usual, I think was about 20 runners. I'm not really sure, I was watching in a second. And I rode the little horse called Diffident. It was a joy to ride because it was a little motorbike. And, but, you know, it was, I don't remember what price it was a pretty big price. And I thought it ran okay, but I didn't expect him to win, you know. So let's watch it. So I'm stuck behind the wall of horse, I remember this, and I was looking for a way out, so I went a little bit left and right and left until I found the split. And then, you know, I kicked for home, and I thought, well, perhaps I'll just get there in time. And then Walter Swinburne on the horse with the white cap came very late, but luckily for me, the winning post was there in time. You know, I would say out of the all 7 winners, that probably was my luckiest one, because if Walter would have got out a bit earlier, he definitely would have beaten me. But anyway, so that was race 2. But to me, actually, emotionally, it didn't really carry that much importance because all my focus was on race 3. Race 3, like I said, was the Queen Elizabeth. That was deciding the Mile Championship, the Trainers' Championship. It was a massive race, and you know, I had a very good horse, and it was a tremendous horse. He had a tremendous turn of foot, acceleration, and you know, I was nervous. And let's watch it. Marco's team, 130. Here we go. And I remember following Buzzer Sham in front of me. I managed to get a split on the left, and then I got him wound up, and he showed his electric turn of foot that he had.
Here's Mark of Esteem who gets into the clear from first island. Charnwood Forest. Ascalani can't win. 100 yards left to go. Bosra Sham is grabbed now by Mark of Esteem. He's too good, the colt. And it's Mark of Esteem who goes on to win the QE2 stakes.
And it was, you know, it was impressive to ride, and it was a great sensation because, you know, to win a race of that caliber in that style, it was very satisfying, and plus the fact that when you win the Queen Elizabeth, Majesty comes down and gives you the trophy, and I remember, I think it was a crystal jug or something. So that was, to me, it was job done, you know. I came to the races, won the first 2, plus I won the biggest race of the day, Queen Elizabeth, and now, you know, now you're on a high, you're full of joy, and, you know, big smile on my face, and off we go to race number 4.
So Frankie, at that point, you could have 4 finishing last now, and
Yep.
you've still had a brilliant day.
Yeah, I mean, if the first 2 would have got beat, it didn't matter because I won the big race. So, you know, when you go to a Saturday, you know, really, it's natural that you do concentrate on the big race, and then, you know, you obviously you fill in the card and you do the best you can. But you know, what it matters is the big race. That's what people remember. The front page of the next day is the big race. So after I achieved that, you know, I knew I had a very successful and fantastic day. Right, so fourth horse, Decorated Hero. It was one of my favourites. It was a great horse to ride, and when I looked at it this morning, he had a wide draw on the outside, and most of the stand side horse had a bit of an advantage, and he had top weight. He had a lot of things against him. You know, for sure he was the best horse in the race, but he had a lot of things against him. That's as much as I remember. Yeah, I'm on the wide outside. You can see me on the wide outside. Like I said, they all went too fast on this side, and slowly I creep towards the front. And in fairness, it's probably my easiest win on the day.
Decorated Hero goes on to win well by 4 lengths. KV second, Russian Music third, fourth Promoose from My Best Valentine.
But same again, everything felt right, you know, the race itself. And because in any given another day, if they didn't go too fast, perhaps I wouldn't have won. But again, I was still feeding off the buzz of the big race. So I'll be honest with you, I don't really quite remember riding that race because I was still on the high from the race before. And so then I remember just getting interviewed and doing like this 4 winners, and then we go on to the 5th race, and the same again, I ride in a filly called Faithfully. And
how many times, Frankie, had you won the first 4 in a day?
Not many.
No.
Not many. I mean, I probably won 4 in a day, but to win the first 4 I don't think I ever did.
But you're saying it hadn't really sunk in that particularly. You were thinking
No.
mostly about Mark of Esteem.
Yeah, absolutely. I was still riding on the buzz of the Queen Elizabeth, and the fourth. In fairness, it was just a big handicap. It wasn't a massive race, so it didn't. You know, of course I was pleased that I won, but it didn't give me the buzz of Mark of Esteem. And so then we go to number 5, Faithfully. That again, it looked a very tough race on paper. Yeah, but I was stuck behind the wall of horses. I remember that, and I pat in front, and then I think I frayed through a little gap, and when she hit the front, she got quite lazy with me, and she was just holding back a little bit. And I remember Ray Cochrane coming on the yellow colours. And I thought, oh, I might get beat here. But in fairness, she stuck her neck out. And
Faithfully with 100 yards left to go. Prancing, trying harder. Bayer running on well, but Faithfully a neck in front. And it's going to be 5 out of 5 for Frankie. What a day.
It's 5 out of 5. And, you know, and this race itself, I don't really remember much, but as I go back in and obviously check the weight and got ready for the 6th, then I started to panic. You know, not panic, but it really hit me. Jesus, you know, this is, you know, I'm 1 away from equaling a record. You know, a record what is in 350 years is only done by Gordon Richard, Alex Russell and Willie Carson to win 6 races in a day. And I thought, you know, in 350 years of racing history, you know, I can become history myself as well. So then, and I thought, I got a winning chance because Lock Angel was one of the favourites. You know, it was a 2-horse race between me and Pat again. I thought, well, all of a sudden I did come back to reality, and I thought, oh God, I'm close, you know, I can close and just need a bit of luck. And so I went to the paddock pre-Lock Angel race, and I was having a chat with Ian Baldwin, and he was reluctant for me to make the run. He wanted me to get a lead from someone, but it was a small field, and she jumped like a rocket, so I was like plan B. I had to do it from the front. So.
And do you remember, just quickly, Frankie, do you remember any kind of like extra calls from the crowd and people beginning? Was there a buzz around Ascot at this point now? You know, you won the.
There was, yeah. I mean, there was a buzz. There was a buzz, but I was in my own little world. You know, I was, I was focusing on, but you know, I was having such a great day after the third, fourth, and fifth. All of a sudden, I went back into panic mode, and dry mouth, nervous. Where I should have been nice and chill because I had a great day. I was like, all of a sudden, just everything jumped on me. So then I was talking about Look Angel, 5-4. I think it was joint fair with Pat. And like I said, I managed to go to the front. She was a very good little mare, and we passed the furlong marker. I thought, can I equal the record? Can I equal the record? Then we passed the furlong marker. I gave her everything I had. She responded well. And I think I did a little celebration here or something. Punched the air or something maybe. Did I? Yes, I did. I remember that. And then I realized that I did something special. I am now in the record books. I've done 6. Great. Pulled up. Big baby smile, came back, and everybody was there waiting. Went through the metal gates, they're all shouting. Great celebration, joy, and anyway, I went back in, checked the weight, quickly checked the weight for the 7th, gave the saddle to Michael Stout, and I said to him, look, if this horse get beat, it's your fault because I'm on fire. So I gave it to him. Then I was dragged outside, and I did some interviews with, was it Sue Barker, or maybe was it, well, I think was either Sue Barker or Julian Wilson. Anyway, did some interviews, equaled the record, delighted, asked about my beloved Arsenal. I think they were winning as well. And given a big magnet of champagne, then open, I sprayed everyone, a great achievement, equal to a, 300-year record, fantastic, great. But everything was like a rush, that was getting dragged everywhere, and I still had one more race to go. So quickly run in, got changed, getting ready for the next, and then I got to, I had people started getting on my back, saying, come on, you can win the 7. And I kind of looked at people and said, come on, don't be silly, I won 6. This horse got no chance. And I'm not going to let this race spoil it, because if I do lose, I don't want to be upset. I've had a great day. So I went out there with actually a very relaxed attitude. And I went out, and everybody was spotting me and asking me for autographs. And I was very relaxed. And I walked out and had a chat with Sir Michael. And I was riding Fujama Crest, but funny enough, I won the same race the year before with him. And but the horse was completely out of form. Can't see the horse win. Looked at the board, 2-1. It was 12s in the morning. I couldn't believe it. This is how people were so stupid to back this horse that basically I thought it couldn't win because it was out of form, top weight. But obviously it's my job. I have to go out there and try to win. So, but I absolutely had no pressure whatsoever. Got a standing ovation going to the start. I loved it. I was admiring the crowd and everybody shouting for me. And, it was easy horse to ride. It was a front runner. So all the gates open, sent him to the front. And I had to clear the field, the big field first. Managed to get to the front. All the way down to Swingley Bottom, I'm in front. And, big loop in the race. The horse found a nice rhythm. And then, the only thing you can see in front is the marker post. So 5, 4, and we got to the 3. I thought when we got to the 3, we got, because he was a big galloper, so let's stretch the field. So we got to the field, started sending him, got to the turn, the bell rings, and you hear the crowd. All of a sudden, the crowd screams, it hits you, ah! And everybody's going mad. And all I could hear is just a lot of noise. We passed the 2, and we got to the 1, and all I could hear is the crack of the whip of Pat Eddery, whack, whack, and I could hear him coming. And the horse was getting tired, I'm getting tired, now he's slowing down, he's coming to get me, the crowd is screaming. Anyway, I'll watch it now. You see what? So let's say I'm in front, big galloping horse, big stride, he's coming, and all I could hear is the crack of the whip of Pat Eddery was getting closer and closer and closer, and Paul Fuji's head is dropping down on the floor, his stride is slowing down, and I thought, well, we're not going to make it, we're not going to make it, we're not going to make it. And then we found something out of the bag.
Fujiyama crest under top weight, a half in front. He's going to do it. Frankie Dettori, 7 out of 7. It's a history maker.
And he kept his neck in front. And I punched the air, but I was physically, I was exhausted. And I think Paul Fuji was exhausted as well. And we punched the air, and it was a sense of disbelief, I'll be honest with you. You know, I really didn't realize what I did. And I pulled up. I remember Jason Weaver came and he shook my hand, and I came back. And everybody was waiting for me. Everybody was going mad, and but it was the third time that everybody was going mad. So for me, it was like what happened in one day. It was a 3-day event, and again, I jumped off the horse. Everybody was cheering, and but a lot of things what I didn't know what happened. Obviously, they delayed the news to put this race on because they could smell something was going to happen. And then, obviously, what I didn't realize, 40 million was won by punters and 40 million was lost by bookmakers. What I didn't realize that. But, you know, I came back in, I checked my weight, and then I think it was around 40,000 people. And I think I stayed back and signed most of their programs. And, yeah, you know, as usual, you know, media friends, I was dragged everywhere. I was excited, and but like I said, I didn't realize what I really achieved. It was, you know, it was basically surreal. You know, everybody got behind me. A lot of people stayed behind just to watch that race, and you know, you could smell in the air something was going to happen. It did, and I mean, everybody was just went mad. You know, the thing is, I had the sense of a bit of a shock, so I couldn't really take it all in. You know, everybody was jumping around, it was going mad, and I was just numb by excitement and but I really didn't really realize what I've achieved. You know, because to me it was like one day in 3 different sets: the first 3 races, the middle 3, and the last one. So it was like a 3-day event for me. I forgot. By the time I got to the last, I forgot what I did in the first race. So, yeah, it was pretty mad.
And when did it begin to dawn on you, the numbers of people who won enormous amounts of money and that sort of thing?
Well, I'll be honest with you, so I won the 7th. Like I said, I stayed back and signed everybody's autograph, did some million interviews, and I came back with my driver in the car, and for once I sat in the car and I did everything right. So I didn't have to kick myself about anything. So I went home, and my fiancée, Catherine, which is now my wife, she drove me to one of her friends' 21st. But I really didn't want to go because I was tired, I was exhausted, and I'd raced the next day. But I got the usual lecture, oh, you'd never do anything for me, you know, blah, 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 blah. So, all right, fine, let's go to this party. And I think I stayed there half an hour, and I think I had an argument with her because I wanted to go home. And we went back, and even a strop, you know what I mean? We're just like, rah, rah, rah. So I went to bed, and I woke up the next morning. I used to get my paper delivered. They used to put in my porch, and I'm at a t-shirt to my underpants because I live quite in the sticks. And I opened the door, and there was about 4 TV cameras and a few journalists outside my picket fence, and I had the scene from Notting Hill. It was one of those. Everybody was taking pictures of my underpants. So I shut the door, I got the papers, and I put the papers, and I would, in every front page. And I realized then what happened. And, 40 million pounds were lost by bookmakers. Moved the stock market. Well, it was mental, you know. And then I put the telly on. I went in every news, and, I was mad that I realized, that really hit me. I thought, my God, this is something big. And in the back of that, I did all sorts of Good Morning TVs and all sorts of TV things. And I saw many people coming up to me, oh, I've won 10,000, I won 8,000, I won 50,000, I won 2 people won 500,000. and people with £5, £2, 50p's. I mean, it was like mad, and this went on, basically. So lots of people, lots of money. Like I said, I wrote till about November, I think, and every day I met people who won thousands, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 2 people, 500,000. But from all walk of life, young people, older ladies, businessmen, taxi drivers. I mean, thousands of people that won so much money on that day. What they thought the impossible, it did happen, and on the back of that, I got asked to do everything. I did all sorts of chat shows. I presented Top of the Pops. I went to Question of Sport. I did, it was fantastic. It went snowball to craziness. And, for being a well-known jockey in my industry, I become a very well-known sportsman with people that didn't know anything about racing. So it was insane, basically. It was insane.